been keeping these transistors to recover the gold from. There's enough there for a batch. They're easily identified because they're round with a flat surface on them, and they've got 3 legs. Sometimes you're lucky enough to find these that have got gold legs. I've had them in the past, but unfortunately none of these ones that I've seen have gold legs on them. Oh yeah, there's one here, if I can find it. As soon as you try and get it, it goes deep. That's gone. So there might be 1 or 2 in there with gold legs, but majority of them aren't. So I'll get those out of there and we'll weigh them up, get a start weight, and we'll do those in this video. So I just wanted to say, guys, I could really do with your hand subscribing to my channel. 75% of people who watch my videos are not subscribed. I need the help to build my channel. Most of my competitors, opposition, however you want to call it, the other channels that do what I do, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of subscribers, and I've only just passed 3. So I'm busting my gut trying to help you guys. If you could do that little thing for me in return and subscribe, would be really appreciated. If you believe that I'm putting in enough effort that I deserve a coffee, for about the price of a cup of coffee, you can become a member. Members get all sorts of rewards. They get extra draws when I give giveaways. So there's a standard giveaway, then there's another one for members. All my videos are released to my members first for about 3 days or so, and then after that I make it public. So I'm always trying to think about things that I can do for my members to show them how much I appreciate their support. But even if you just want to be a subscriber, that would help me huge. Thank you. Hey viewers, welcome back to another video. I've got these transistors here that I've been saving up. I've done a video on them before and I did get some gold. It's not a lot, but there's some in there. And there's about enough there for a batch now. I've got 254 grams. So I'm going to process those now and see how much we can get. Okay, I've burned most of them. I've got them as white as I can. There are a couple of stubborn ones, but for the most part they're all white, which is how you want it. You want to get them as white as you possibly can. Now I'm going to put them through the coffee grinder and ground separate the ash. I'll show you how to do that in a beaker on a small scale. There's no point in taking this little bit out the front with buckets and hoses and carry on. So I'll grind it all up and then I'll come back. All the powder's been sieved, and you can see now what's left in here is only metal. It's copper and so on. There's no unbroken chips that I can see in there, which is good, because I thought I'd have to re-bake the powder to get it black, to get it to go white. But there's nothing in here that says there's unbroken chips. That must have all gone to powder real easily. But I'll do the gravity separation and see what it all looks like afterwards. I may have to roast it some more, we'll see. Okay, I've got 2 beakers that need to clean, so I'm going to use those for this. I've got all the debris in here. I'm going to pour tap water into there, into the one first. Give a really good mix up. Make sure you thoroughly get all of it mixed up. Get right to the bottom and scrape it all around. Make sure all of it gets coated. Because when it's in a dry state like this, it'll tend to be hydrophobic. So you've got to make it want to get wet, whether it likes it or not. Force it. And then just give it about 5 or 10 seconds to settle. Anything heavy will settle. Anything light, ash and so on, will stay in suspension. And then now, tip it into this other beaker. I'm not going to tip out all the way though. About halfway and stop. This is a small scale of what I do outside at the front of the hose. I'm going to put some more water in here. Again, give it a good stir, and you just keep doing this over and over and over and over and over until the liquid that you pour off is clear. If there's any colour to it, you've got to keep going. When you're just pouring off clear water, then you've obviously gotten rid of all the ash. Alright, give some settle. And pour it off. You don't go all the way, go halfway or just over halfway to stop and go again. It's that easy. Stir it up. Give it a second or two to settle. And pour it off. Because seeing those resistors are made of plastic, it's going to be a lot easier to get rid of all the light residue than it would be the ones that were made of epoxy or whatever they are. Anything heavy will take only a second or two to drop. Doesn't take long at all. And gold's the heaviest thing in the container, so pour this off. See how it's getting nice and clear now? There's hardly any dirt left in there at all. I've run out of room in that beaker, so I'll get another one. See, it's just cloudy now. It's not dark like before. Pour this off. This should be the last one, hopefully. You can actually see when you're looking at it, the heavies fall straight away. So all the copper and everything is already down the bottom, and all that's now floating is the light stuff. So we want to get that off before that settles, because that's what blocks up your filters. Another beaker. I'm running out of room here. See, that's virtually clear. So we can stop there now. What I'll do now is I'll rinse this out with distilled water. I highly doubt there's silver in there, but it's a good practice to get into. So you're going to get rid of every scrap of, every bit of residue of tap water, because the chlorine, if there was silver in the mix, would make it fall out as silver chloride, and I don't want that. So it's just easier to get into the habit of doing it for everything you process in case there's silver in there. So I'm just going to rinse it out thoroughly, make sure all the tap water's gone. I'll do that off camera. Okay, so I've thoroughly rinsed it, and what's in there now is distilled water, and I'm going to put some nitric in there to consume all the base metals. I want you to take note of how fast it reacts. It might make a liar of me in my last video I did, but generally speaking, because there's copper in there, copper is highly reactive to nitric acid. And not long after I put some in there, it should bubble and fizz and hiss and sizz and carry on. So I generally don't put any heat on at the beginning, or you'll definitely get an overflow. Just let it react, do its thing until it calms down, and then put heat on. There's no set amount of nitric. It's not like you're doing hydrochloric acid. You just pour some in, doesn't matter how much. You have to keep adding some every time the reaction stops, until it no longer reacts, and then you know all the base metals are gone. You see how that's reacting already? Over the next few minutes that'll fizz even more and more and more. And there's no heat on yet. Even the fumes have started. So we'll find a lid for this, put the lid on it. And that's just from the copper. I've had it boiling and ferociously going green and red and all sorts of colours in the past. See, the fumes are building up. So I'm just going to let that sit for half an hour or so, and or until the reaction pretty much stops, and then I'll turn the heat on. See how much the fumes have built up? This is only like less than 2-3 minutes after I stopped recording last time. It's really taken off in there. See the bubbles going on. If I had that on heat by now, it would have overflowed everywhere. Worth just letting it sit. Alright, so I've been putting a little bit of nitric in each time the reaction stops, and this time there's no change. I put nitric in and nothing's happened. So I'm fairly confident now all the base metals have been consumed in these transistors. I've turned the heat off. I'm going to let it cool down and then filter it. I'll rinse the residue really thoroughly, and then I'll put aquaregia in there and get whatever gold we can. Alright, so I'm down to the last bit of liquid for the sediment from these transistors. I'm just going to catch it all in the filter. So I'll squirt that all down into the filter, and then once it's finished draining, and I'll put some water in there to rinse it through, I can then put the filter in some aquaregia. So I'll do that now. Alright, so the debris from the transistors has all been filtered, and the filter's in a beaker. I'm going to put some aquaregia. So what I'll do is I'll start with some hydrochloric acid, just enough to cover it, and then I'm only going to use small amounts of nitric as I need it. I'm not going to go by a ratio. It's the worst thing you can do. I'll put a little bit of nitric, and then when it stops reacting I'll put a little bit more, and so on until there's no more reaction. It's had its 3 hot water washes. Now I put it in some hydrochloric acid. Going to give it a boil for about half an hour or so. Doesn't really matter how long, at least half an hour. I'm glad I set up my vacuum filtration. It's helping the sediment from the transistors funnel through nicely and fast. It would have taken a couple of days, probably take an hour. I put some SNB in with the transistors. I forgot to record. I've only just poured it in there. I had some dissolved SNB in water. So now I'm just waiting for it to settle, change and then drop. Right, so the gold from the transistors has been washed thoroughly, rinsed, and now it's in a hydrochloric acid boil with some dilute hydrochloric acid. The reason it's diluted is because I had to squirt the beaker out to get any gold that was stuck to the edge. There was quite a bit stuck to the edge, and after doing all that there was a bit of water in there, so otherwise it would just be straight hydrochloric acid. So I'll put that on the boil for a while and then rinse it clean, and that'll be it. We'll weigh it up. It'll need refining, but we'll wait and see what we got. Okay guys, I've finished with the gold. I've got it dropped and dried from the transistors. There's not a lot there, but we didn't have a very big pile to start with. They only have the tiniest little bit of gold in them, but gold's gold, you know. Why throw something away that's got gold in it? That's how I see it. So in a second we're going to do the weigh up, but firstly I want to address something. I've had so many really good comments, well wishes, hoping I get better, all these kinds of things, and it felt nice to have so many people who got my back. So I want to say a massive thank you to all those people who wish me well. I'm getting there. I'm not as bad as what I was. I'm not coughing 24/7, just a few here and there. I still haven't quite got my voice back yet, but that's okay. A lot of people probably say that's a relief. But there has been some people who have either asked out of curiosity or insinuated that this throat thing, voice, cough, all that is because of the fumes. It's not because of the fumes, okay? You see me on the videos not wearing a mask because if I talk with a mask on, you can't understand what I'm saying. So I don't wear the mask when I'm recording. And what I do is I make sure that the wind is blowing away from me, blowing the fumes away from me. If the fumes aren't blowing away from me, then I wait until they are. There will be the odd occasion, and you may have seen on the odd occasion, where, you know, the wind's blowing one way and then all of a sudden it blows back the other way and I cop a mouthful of SMB or something, and then it goes back to where it was. Well, that's unavoidable. I wasn't to know wind was going to change. But I try my hardest to make sure I'm upwind whenever I'm not using a mask. So the only reason I don't put on my videos about how careful you have to be and all that is because you guys aren't idiots. You know, we're not talking to a bunch of preschoolers. And I see everybody putting it on their videos. I get that they're doing it to cover their own back, but at the same time, it kind of makes the audience feel stupid because we're responsible enough and old enough to know that we should be using PPE. Well, at least I think my audience would be mature enough to get the hint that you need to protect your lungs and your eyes and your hands. I have showed, I don't know if it was this video or a different video, one of my subscribers gave me some chemical gloves that actually do fit me. I've explained in the past that I don't wear the nitrile gloves because I've got hands like baseball mitts, and every time I try and pull them on they just tear. I've tried rubber ones, silicone ones, you name it, and I get the extra large. I've not been able to find anything bigger than that. But like I said, one of my subscribers brought around some gloves for me. They fit real easy. I can get them on and off real easy. and I'll be using those in the future, as well as my mask when I'm not on video. So for those who are concerned or just keyboard warriors who want to sling off, no, the chemicals aren't responsible. No, I'm not stupid enough to sit there and breathe in the chemicals. It just looks like it on video because you don't see me wearing a mask. Back to the good side, I really thank you, all of you who have sent well wishes and nice comments, and those who are saying, look, just get better first, don't worry about the videos. Well, I'm hoping you can see from my side of things my commitment to you guys and making sure that I can keep the videos rolling no matter what. Unless I'm really down and out, I wouldn't even have a channel without you guys. So I owe it to you to keep the videos rolling as often as I can. So enough about that. Time to see what we got. So I'll angle this down. I'm pretty sure you can see well there. Alright, so it's on 0. And we'll try the weight. There's a 50 gram weight. Perfect. These are my newest scales. And these ones have a lid that goes on top for when you're out prospecting, and you can put the gold in there like that, and it stops the wind being able to blow the pad and upset the weigh. But I don't need that for now. But these are my most expensive set. It should be a lot better than the other ones. So let's have a look at this gold now. As I said, it's not a lot, but it all adds up. 0.1, 0.2, there's a tiny bit more in here. If you guys have ever processed those little transistors, and if you like what you got out of them or you don't like what you got out of them, just start a conversation in the comments about them, because there's probably people out there that haven't done them and are curious to see whether they're worth doing. 2.02, there's not 2 grams, it's 0.2 of a gram. Yeah, it's not much, but hey, I think that's okay. At the end of the day, it's all gold. And like I said, considering I only had a tiny amount to start with of transistors, it's not like I did a huge pile of them or anything. I think that's pretty good. Alright, so I've got one more video that I'm about to finish, and then there's a couple that I'm about to start. I'm going to be doing soon reverse electroplating, and I've done it before. These gold things here, the heat sinks off CPUs, and they've got the gold on them. If you like those sorts of videos, reverse electroplating, I can recommend you go and check out Scrap Daddy 365. He recently did a video about reverse electroplating, and he did a good job. He does some good videos. So while you're waiting for me to do mine, if that's something you're interested in, then I'd say pop over to his channel and have a look at his, and say g'day for me, tell him you saw his channel from here, from me, so that he knows where the word's getting out to. And I'll see you on the next video, which shouldn't be too far away. So thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed. I really would appreciate it if you guys could subscribe, like, comment, all that kind of stuff. Now I've only got just over 3,000 subscribers, and there's people I know on other channels that have got tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands. I'd like to go a bit further than 3, so if you could help me out, hit that subscribe button please, it would be mostly appreciated. Okay, see you on the next video. Bye for now.